everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing the quarter year crisis book tag. So I was tagged to do this video by Kbeth Bookish, and this is an original video by Royson's Reading. I will leave both videos and everything linked down below for you guys. This is a new video that is sort of similar to like the mid-year book freakout tag and the end of the year tag, where we sort of check in to see what our reading is looking like so far in the year. And obviously, because it is the quarter year tag, we are doing this a quarter of the way through the year. So I got tagged, I think like last week. It is currently mid to end of April. I feel like it still works for the quarter year, and I'm very excited to go through these because these are gonna be like check-in stat type of questions, which I love. And so yeah, let's jump into it. So the first question is, how many books have you read so far? So far this year I have read 44 books. That is including DNFs, because that is what I have on my stat sheet. However, if we're not counting DNFs, I have read 39 books, which is way more than I thought I was going to be reading this year because I am currently pregnant. However, I do know that when I had Presley at least, I felt myself not wanting to read as much when he was a newborn. Like I was still getting over the whole like giving birth and hormones changing and having a new baby and that kind of stuff. And I don't think I read at all the month that I had him. So the fact that I'm doing pretty much better than I thought I was going to for the beginning part of this year is good, because I feel like my reading is probably going to slow down a lot more once I actually have this baby. Question number 2 is, have you already found a book that you think might be a 2022 favorite? Or if not, what was a favorite book that you read that was not quite 5 stars? So I actually do have a favorite book so far that I am guaranteeing to be on my favorite book of the year list. It might not be necessarily my favorite book because like I can't say that I'm not going to find anything better. But oh my gosh, I loved it so much. I read it last month, and so if you watch my wrap-ups you probably know, but like it jumped automatically to my favorite book of the year so far, and that is Winter's Orbit by Evarina Maxwell. This is a book that I actually received in an Illumicrate last year at the beginning of 2021, and I somehow put it off. I don't know exactly why, but it has things that I absolutely love. Like it's sci-fi, it's romance. Like I love sci-fi, I love romance, but I just kept putting it off, and I think it's because it was getting quite a bit of hype when it first came out. It is 100% deserved. Like I loved this book so much. We also have like a more like mystery element as well, and so those sort of 3 genres, I want to say, the sci-fi, the romance, and the mystery, are actually interwoven so successfully in this. Like they are 100% needed for this entire story. I took over a week to read this because I did not want it to end, but I was also taking my time with it, which happens sometimes with like really good books. I can't just like, I want to sit and marathon the whole book, but I know I shouldn't. Like I want to take my time with it. I love the characters, I love the world building, I love that because it was sci-fi, it was normalized queerness in the world. Like that was just the normal state of the world. Like I can't even wrap my mind around this very well to like give you actual full thoughts. Like I just loved it so much. I need more from this author. I think there is going to be a sequel / companion novel coming out at the end of this year, probably following different characters, but it is going to be in the same world, and I just can't wait to see what this author is going to do, because yes, I absolutely love this book. It is 100% going to be on my favorite books of the year list. I just don't know if it's going to be dethroned or not. Currently it's not. I absolutely love this one. And saying all of that, I did want to say that I do also have so far 17 5-star reads of the year. So this was number 1, and then I have 16 other ones. These do also include like some graphic novels and comics and that kind of thing. So I've had a pretty good reading year so far, because 17 of the books that I've read, 5 stars. The next question is, have you had any 1-star books, or what is your least favorite book of the year? So on my stats, and like when we go into my wrap-up videos for the month, I do list 1 stars as my DNFs. That is mostly just so I have a separate category in all of my stats and charts and that kind of stuff. But if we exclude the DNFs, I actually do not have any 1-star reads. Something has to be really horrible for me to want to give it a 1 star. That being said, I do have 1 2-star read, which is actually going to be the worst book of the year that I've read so far. And that is actually a Star Trek novelization. This is Heart of the Sun by Pamela Sargent and George Zabrowski. I read this January or February, I can't actually remember which one. I think it might have been January. And my biggest issue with this, there's a couple of them. One, this is a Star Trek book, and for me, I've read a few different ones. I have a lot more than I've actually read, but characterization is the one thing that I want to come back for. Like, I need you to know who Captain Kirk is, who Spock is, all this kind of stuff, and I need them to feel like the characters. In this book, the Enterprise characters sort of took a backseat to other secondary characters in this story, and because of that, they didn't really feel at all like they should. Like, this could have been a completely separate IP. It didn't even have to be an IP project. It could have been a completely different novelization of who knows what. It did not have to be Star Trek. And then my other big issue with this is there is a summary on the back, like most books have, and the summary is not true at all to what story is actually in the book. Like, it has different things of like, oh, well, this happened and this happened and this happened. They didn't happen. Things that were maybe sort of similar happened, but like the summary that it was giving us was not what the book was about. And so I was just like, that's false advertising. And so the fact that the characters were not what I thought they were going to be, and the book was also not what I thought it was going to be, I just did not have a good time reading it. It was a little bit boring as well, especially at the very beginning. And by very beginning, I mean like first half at least. So yeah, this is my least favorite book of the year so far. Okay, and the next question is, what is your most read genre so far? So I read a lot of different genres, and so I really had no idea right away what was going to be my most read genre. So I definitely had to take a look at my stats that I keep, and according to my chart, my most read genre so far is fantasy. I have read 18 fantasy books so far this year, or about 40% of the books that I've read. However, I was also looking, this is including my DNFs, and out of the 5 DNFs that I've had so far this year, 3 of them have been fantasy. And I put fantasy as the genre for anything that is even slightly fantastical, and I don't have a better place to put it. So not all of these are going to be like high fantasy or anything like that, just any sort of fantasy. But if I take out those DNFs, instead of 18 books, I've read 15 books, and instead of 44 total books, I have 39 total books. The percentage is a little bit closer to 38%. I know it's only a couple percent difference, but that's the difference. And the reason I wanted to say this is that my next most read genre is sci-fi. And I've read 13 sci-fi books this year. None of them have been DNFs. And so if we're not including the DNFs, it's 33%. So like 38% to 33% is very, very close. So the fact that like fantasy is my most read genre is very, very true. But sci-fi, which is one of my favorite genres, is not far behind. The next question is a book that surprised you, and this one actually was very, very surprising for me. It's going to be Lost Boy by Christina Henry. So I actually just read this month in a vlog that was like a whole bunch of Peter Pan retellings. I'll link it down below in case you haven't seen it. But I was very pleasantly surprised, I should say, by this book. I actually ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. And the reason I was pleasantly surprised is I have read a different Christina Henry in 2020, which was not a retelling of any sort. It was a completely original work by Christina Henry called The Ghost Tree. I hated it. I think I gave it 2 stars because, again, in my charts and everything, I put DNFs as 1 stars, and I did not DNF it. However, I absolutely hated it. It was in my worst books of the year. I think actually for that year, it was the worst book of the year. There were just some issues with like underage sexual stuff, and blaming the underage party for an age gap, pedophilia sort of thing between an adult and a child. And then there was also a very racist character that was a point of view character, and I did not feel like it was actually shown to be not a good thing. Like, we were reading stuff from this character's point of view that was very, very racist, but they were never shown to be like, don't do this, this is a bad person sort of thing. It was very uncomfortable. And so there was a lot of other issues as well, but those were like the 2 main ones that just made me not like the book. And so I had a feeling that I was not gonna like this one. I was not gonna like anything by Christina Henry. However, I purchased this one before I read that one, and I'm pleasantly, like I said, pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed my time with this one. This is a Peter Pan retelling where we're sort of getting the point of view of Hook if he was a lost boy before he became Captain Hook, and it is a more horror, gruesome type of story. Like, we definitely have blood and gore and death and mutilation. We do also have some instances of previous child abuse, so there is some stuff in here that is dark. But I really did enjoy this one. Then the next question is a book that has come out in 2022 already that you want to read but you haven't yet. So I have way too many books for this question in general. I do a new video every quarter that is like the new upcoming releases that I am excited for. So I've done one for January, February, March, and then for April, May, and June. And there's way too many of those, like so many. However, I did end up picking one, and it is A Hunt of Shadows by Elise Kova. This is a sequel to A Trial of Sorcerers, which was a book that I read last year. I think it was on my top books of the year list. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This is an indie YA magical, like elemental magic sort of thing, and the first book had a magical competition, which I absolutely loved. Shit went down in that book that I was not expecting, but this is the sequel where our main character is going to go to, I believe, another country or another continent, and then have to do, I think, another magical competition. There's conspiracies, there's potential like war brewing, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I really adored the first book. I think there's also potentially going to be romance as well, because this author in general does write a lot of like fantasy romance. And so the first book was more fantasy heavy, and I'm sure we're gonna get lots of fantasy in this one, but I would not be mad at a little bit of romance in here either. Also, this book, all of Elise Kova's like standard hardcovers, because they are self-published indie books, like she can do this if she wants, they're gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous. I need to read this one. The next question is one goal that you made that you are succeeding at. And so far, I think what I'm going to say is my reading vlogs. I didn't do one in January because January is a whole bunch of like stats for the end of the year from the previous year, favorite books, worst books, all this kind of stuff. But starting in February, I wanted to do at least one reading vlog every single month, and I did one February, March, and April so far. And I'm very proud of that fact because, again, I'm pregnant and very tired sometimes. And so the fact that I'm able to make that happen and still read, and like so far everything's been going at a pretty good pace. Like, I'm just very proud of that. We'll see if I'm able to keep that up later on, because eventually I will have a newborn and stuff, but I'm still hoping to do a reading vlog like every month or so. And then the next question is one goal that you made that you need to focus on. And so for this one, again, because I'm pregnant, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to make this as something to focus on, but it is something that I wanted to do that I haven't been doing as well at. And it's going to be live streams. I love doing live streams both for reading sprints and for video games on this channel. Last year, I did like a video game playthrough of all the Mass Effect games for the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and I just had so much fun doing it, especially with like a toddler. It's so hard to find time to do those kind of things for myself. But one of the issues that I'm having right now is being pregnant, being tired, being unmotivated sometimes, and so trying to schedule something that is live, like I'm gonna do this on Saturday morning for 2 hours, and I have to do it at that time, is just so much more daunting than a video like this, where I could potentially do this the day before this video goes up. For example, and by for example, I mean that's what I'm doing. Normally I would try to film stuff over the weekend, but it was Easter weekend and stuff like that, and I was very tired and unmotivated on Saturday. Like, I just did not want to do anything. So I am filming this Monday morning, and I'm going to edit this Monday afternoon, and it is going to go up on Tuesday, like normal. But so like I have a little bit more leeway. It feels so much easier to make things happen with a video schedule than a live streaming schedule. So like the fact that I wanted to do reading sprints, and I've only ever done them in January of this year. The fact that I wanted to do a couple little video game things where maybe it was just like one weekend a month and it was like a very short 2-hour game. I haven't done any so far because it just feels, like I said, more daunting to actually sit down and schedule something and have to be on camera at that time Whereas with these, I can do it whenever I actually have time and I feel like it. So again, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to focus on it because of being pregnant and then having a baby, but it is something that I wanted to do and I would like to. I just don't know if it's actually going to happen. We'll see. And then the last question is any new to you booktubers, bookstagrammers, booktalkers that you found in 2022 and want to recommend. So I'm not on BookTok at all, so I don't have any of those. One person I did want to definitely mention is Kova Bookish, who is the person who tagged me to do this video. I just found them this year. I haven't found a ton of new people this year because I haven't been actively looking. That is a me problem, but it is. But I definitely found her this year. We are currently doing a buddy read, and so I've been really enjoying watching her videos and talking to her about the buddy read stuff. And so definitely go check her out. She is a smaller channel, but like deserves all the love. And then another person that I definitely, again, found this year started on Bookstagram, and I still do follow their Bookstagram and everything like that, but then they have also made a Booktube channel, and so I found them on Instagram and also follow them and watch their videos on Booktube, is Jack in the Bookstack. I think I found her because she actually technically lives in Arizona where I live, and so there is like an Arizona Bookstagram sort of channel that I've found people to follow, and I found her this year. Again, really, really fun videos, and I think her Instagram feed is way more gorgeous than I could ever make mine. I have no patience to like think of really good ways to show books there. Although I do love Instagram. I have a lot of like life photos on there as well. But I think those two specifically, definitely love their videos, found them in different ways, but they both deserve a lot of love. And so yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. I don't know who has been tagged or not to do this, and it is definitely getting to the end of like the quarter part of the year so far. So if you see this video and you would like to do it and you think the questions are fun, definitely go ahead and do this because I love videos like these. I love watching videos like these, but I'm not gonna necessarily tag specific people because like I'm very, very bad about knowing who's been tagged or not. If you want to do this, do this. And that is going to be it for me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos up Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I will see you then. Bye.
Mommy.
Presley. What are you doing? Are you on the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're cute. You're so cute. You're so cute. Okay, Mommy gotta film. Oh, and we can't keep kicking the camera, okay?